Hello and welcome as it is the third day of July 2019. My name is Derek. Like always, all bets, trades, and of the like, well, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. All right, then, let's go over the action upon Bitcoin as price action is up to close to 12,000 again. Levels not seen in a decent amount of time when viewing it via the single hour term time frame. We're at levels going back to June 30th. We're at the new monthly highs. Yeah, it's the third day, and the 30th was the final day of the previous month. I understand, but it was 3 in the morning on June the 30th, and it is 8 p.m. right now on the 3rd. So that's um, 48, 72. That's about 76 hours or so. Levels it hasn't been since then, or it's recovering its down move relatively well, at least a portion of it, because there's more towards it going back towards these highs as well. This 11224 price congested at that Fibonacci level for quite some time, and this breakout at 6:38 p.m. Eastern Term is when it got going. 626, way off on the time. Like a 2 3 minute rally. It was at 11.4, and then next thing you know, it's at 11, almost 11.8. So it goes up 360, $370, well over 3%, in about 3 minutes, on average 1% per minute, at least during that allocation of time. What does it do after the move? Small sell off, meaning just one period, and only going down for the minute 0.84%, meaning that literally when I say only. And then continuous grinding its way to a new high up to the 11.9 handle. Small continuous rally here at the 18. Pierces extra, but a matching hit. A lot of strength within the 18 average of highs, but just because it has strength doesn't mean it's always going to progress up. And then it has a breakdown, albeit a failed one, as it broke down below the support at 11.8 here at 7:04 p.m. And then no, a reattempt here, not so quite, not yet anyway, because it's a successful correction. And this one is showing successful moves because it now has managed to pierce above this, but more importantly, since that point, a successful 18. And for the last, well, from 7:43 p.m. right now it's 8:03 p.m. That's 17 plus 3 for the last 20 minutes. It has been showing support at the previous level of resistance and correcting the lows. For 3 minutes now, it is showing nice consecutive highs, at least so far with this 40 seconds to play, it's doing so. Showing strength amongst the 18 average of highs, meaning well, we've been breaking these resistance levels for quite some time. Maybe it's ready again for that leg higher. And then when looking at the Fibonacci line, I got to think that 12,216 is in order. We'll see if it is, but it probably is going to be. It's usually going to pierce it extra, but just for something to do. Let's take a look at the Fibonacci now from this high to this low. I'm not going to necessarily draw the lines in, and I'm only going to use accurate or approximate levels. I'm not going to use the exact numbers. 13,941 is what I'm going to use as the first number. And then I'm going to do the same thing as far as this low. We're going to go in at 97.58. And I'm really only caring mostly about the 38.2, the 61.8, as well as the up target. Key numbers 11.1, 12.1, and then 17.380. So I think a level of resistance we might see. I know I got 15,000 written in there as well, but don't be surprised if we it's going to be interesting because that 17 number is going to be so near the 20, but a break of the resistance that we just established at the 13.9, it should be a move up to 17, which is in the territory of previous high of all-time highs. But before we get there, key levels are 111 and change and 121 and change. So we should get to 112 and 122. Well, the 112 was most certainly coinciding with this, and 122 coincides here. So that's a big, important level. We could be doing a lot of different things from this point forward. I could be just drawing this line. I don't even know what this is drawing. It's drawing point X to A. What did I push? Okay, we got a triangle. Then I could do something with point C. And then I could do, I mean, this is all quadrophysics, I think. I don't know, but goodbye. There's a scene. I haven't pushed it yet. There was a scene from Saturday Night Live. David Spade was the main guy in it, who was a host of a passenger attendant of an airplane, and he'd be like bye bye to say goodbye to it. Now I'm going to say bye bye to this. It's gone. Bye bye. It's gone. The ad. Bye bye. The downtrend we've been in, it looks like that's becoming a bye bye as well. But for this move from point A high to point B low to be a failed move, it needs to hold and stay above this 12.261 for a while or have a convincing breakout further upon past that point. But it looks like, again, we're going to be heading towards that level. I don't want Coinbase, excuse me, I don't want the tether on here for the uh, more longer term. Let's use first. Let's take a quick gander, the 12,000 level now exactly for a few moments there on the Coinbase exchange. In doing such, it found the resistance here at the 76.4 Fibonacci level. These Fibonacci points are really short term from here on in, which means short term, maybe find a little bit of resistance at 15.2 before we get to that 17 handle. Then 17 is next up to 20, and then it goes hog wild after that. And I'll come up with levels on the situation of such in play. But for now, after leaving this 18 average of lows, the session here on that of Wednesday, that would be is still today's date, but not so in Europe anymore. As I'm doing this, it's 8:07 p.m. Eastern Time. 10.59% price action on the highs, 11,707. So it closed above it. Can we have any type of momentum to stay in that area above it? Yeah, a lot of it will come down the 4 hour to hold this little key area, at least for now. This congestion area, if it's going to be ready to pull back, or even if it does pull back around this 12 low change area, I'm going to be looking for this area to be where it is support. Because now that, this coincides with this area here. Also, we got the 12930 handle, which is also coinciding with the full level up towards this here, because usually they can't break a level higher or will congest up and down. It is more of a long-term level on the 12.9 as it is anyway. Let's change this over to Bitstamp, as Bitstamp has more data. You get the exact same analysis here. I'm looking at the daily because they have the exact same price. But I got more data here, and I don't have those lines, so they look better without the lines in here. I'm going to just failed move, fast move. I've talked about this and the potential of it all the time as it is anyway. But you have that major, major, major key level, and it's a bit more than some after it anyway. There's your rectangular failed breakdown. So then we quickly go back into congestion area. Well, it's already surpassed that area. What's the highest line I can draw for congestion area where it came from? These highs here. Little bit. This was just so sick volatility that I was willing to accept this, which in here it was having no problem getting by. It congested at this upper end here. Now we're seeing congestion of this area in here, which is the upper end of this resistance and the lower end of this support. Okay, what's next? Well, what's next is previous high pretty much on this long-term time frame on the weekly. And previous high is meh when it comes to the monthly. Meh, M-E-H. Oh, how was that apple pie? And if it sucked, it was barely edible. It was edible at best. Meh. Yeah. Almost or close to satisfactory, or how difficult is it to beat the Baltimore Orioles in the major leagues? Well, that's really, that's just simple, but it's easy. It's not a challenge. It can be done. And testing high like 17, 18, 19,000 area, 20, 21. That's meh. That's all it is. It's just a whatever small move when you look at it from this perspective. What would be something would be a move immediately, even like 20. Here, 20. I'd be impressed at 27 5 even. I mean, it pretty much is a mad move at 22, 23,000. It starts to look good at 23. And you got to look at it for two things. How big, well, most importantly, be the second one. First, how big of the break of the resistance. But the more important for it's the size of its move is how big of a green candle would it take. The size of a green candle from 23 or 223 would be something of this. I know it's a terrible drawing, but that's would take it to 23. And a move would be 10. It would be over 100x, a 2x move. But for what it comes down to, we look at the size of these moves. This one was a pretty good move at 70, and it followed through well. But overall, the size of that green candle is still nothing explosively large in comparison to the smaller ones that ascended and preceded it. More along lines of this, and then these casual good ones as well. These smaller ones here, and then you compare this overall low volatility compared to, and this is supposed to be normal that we lower the volatility. Because for all those pundits who say, oh, cryptos aren't good for money and all that because of its wild movements and stuff like that. Yeah, it takes time for its volatility to settle in, and it has settled in a bit. But in the situation of analysis of when bigger moves happen, that's where we're standing now, when we've had the very small amount of microscopic volatility in here when the price action just stayed at that low level. And I was screaming out that, well, it could go up, but we're probably looking to go down to 3,000. Now, that was a close call. It sucks when you were looking to buy at the low threes, but the bottom was 3,100 change. And then you have all of these, and there's like 4 of them in here, of these microscopic moves of the just at that low area, and then again screaming, well, maybe we'll hit that number, and it could be down to like 26, 28, 24, even to 1,000. No, and then you have this moderately nice green candle, a very good one in comparison to its very good ones it's had before. But when it had this, there was 5 very good ones on this run, 3 in a row, and in this one here, 2 in a row with 2 small pause green ups moves. So we've had, and then an okay one. Man, it's more of a pause up one more than anything on the previous one. And coming from any type of pause-ish situation, well, it makes it live to possibly go. And I'm looking at a resistance break of 14,000, and 60-70% moves aren't out of realm. On 14,000, 50% of that is 7, which means close to 21, considering this was close to 14. And that's a 50% move on break of resistance. Also note further that when you have decent moves like this, and you have spots like no resistance on the lows, no resistance on the highs, break out well above the highs, have a little intra-move correction above the newly rising highs now, and start to leave it without even touching the 18 average on any shorter term time frames. I mean, touching this 18 average of highs that, like, in the last month, that is, it never did it. Well, it never even came close to coming back to 73, 77 area. Where was our correction the last little bit? Yeah, 9,700. Okay, well, if that's the case, and it gets going from here, you get bigger moves that happen afterwards usually, as of course was the case when it was having these higher moves with this. Now, what's definitely going on right now is Bitcoin dominance is going up, because every single one of the alts that I'm trading is going down against Bitcoin from this spectacular move that happened after 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Bitcoin is, well, I guess we're not going to see it here because it's after the 8 o'clock. I got T-Fuel against Bitcoin because I've decided to instead trading, I was trading T-Fuel against Binance Coin. I thought, you know what, might as well trade against LITECOin. Not to do any work. I got LITECOin I can allocate towards it. I already own the T-Fuel, and I'll just cross trade them together. But let's just take a like Bitcoin Cash took a decent sized hit against Bitcoin. It went down like 3-4% instantly. I haven't looked at its intraday chart, but right here, 536 handle, and then it goes down, it goes sideways. I'm in the belief that Bitcoin dominance is going to rule, and the altcoins are going to go after Bitcoin dominance is done. It just looks right now that Bitcoin dominance is done, and this last little bit Bitcoin down move we've seen is that of a correction. And with that being said, that's what we see here on that. As far as other coins are concerned, GRS, I know not the greatest of volume, but 3,300 down to 3076. Ethereum Classic, it took a little bit of a dive down as well. Stellar Lumen, same thing. Everything's doing the exact same thing. Ethereum, I haven't even looked at this, and oh, no surprise, same game. Arc, same game. Ripple, interesting game. Never mind, same game. That'll fix it. Gold against the Canadian dollar. Hey, nice little run here, but how much volatility on that? 1848 to 1854. That's a differential of about 6 basis points. That's about 1/3% from bottom to top. Okay, Skycoin. Well, it's less volatile coin. LITECOIN, as we can see here, down 103, down to 101 instantly. Waves, down instantly at the same time. QTUM, that's been just continuing its downward motion, but it had a good gain. Let's take a look at QTUM for a bit. You got the idea. I don't need to show you other altcoins to show you the story. I've already shown it. They're going down. But that's because of the Bitcoin rise. And again, once this Bitcoin dominance is over, I wouldn't be surprised if all these altcoins, at least a good percentage of them, have good runs together. Okay, where's the Bittrex one? Right here. This way I get rid of all of these down gaps in here. Daily chart, it's hanging in there. And you know what? I like to have these up and down moves as a trader. Because in here the market goes up to 51.8 handle, then it goes down to 37.8. Sell up here, buy down there. Oh, I'm now looking to buy, and I've been getting some of these buybacks. Market got up to 498. Oh, sell up here, and let's just do some buybacks. Oh, it looked to break above in here because where this line is, I like to draw in horizontal rays. Well, I'd put one in around 43.064 because that's the level of all of this resistance in here. We had this lift-off support in here. It had a failed breakout above here that had a far fall, good move and somewhat of a fast move, but not really. And then its attempt to re-get it back, spending many days in what it took just one to do this up and down move before. So lowering of the volatility, working within the 18 successfully still here, coming back to the upper end of where it came from. Upper end because the lower end would be the 18 lows coinciding with 18 lows coincides with this lower end in here, which was the 18 highs in this resistance near 398 handle. If there's going to be even more further decline. And if we see support there, it lifts higher, oh, the setup will just look good. Because if it does, if the picture paints out anything in the area where within this 18 average, and it's going to start to lower its slant, maybe start to go a bit sideways, but do anything like this, just stay within it in some sort of term, then start to rise above it, and then play around with this, maybe hold and stay around here for about 3 or so periods or days, then lift off. After that, the setup would just be so powerful for a monstrous type of move, and that's just about letting the market do what it does, play as it goes through, adjusting to the message of the market. For it's going to be people, oh, all the shorts are coming in. Instead of trying to sell for me when markets are going down, I'd rather sell when they go up. Now, it does work out ratio trading that I'm going to be selling this case with everything going down together, that I'm going to sell something down 3% for something that's down 8 or 9%. But that's because of the markets versus on the other side, I'm trading what's up. What's going up on, of course, a different cross. For a chart, I wouldn't see, but for the price levels that I do see. And of course, in this game, of trading cryptocurrency, stocks, all the paper game. Only price pays. And let's just finish off with the Neo, and it just happened. I don't know when I put this line in, but and I don't know why I did. Maybe I'll find out. But this resistance, this level here on the 1300-hour timestamp yesterday, happened to hit 17106, and it's obviously resisted it. It's already in the previous congestion area here. What do we see on the 4? We see a lot of resistance at that 17 handle. Very choppy, to say the least. And in my trading strategy, choppiness is profitable. Oh yeah, buy down here, sell up here. Yeah, maybe buy a bit here. Maybe even sell a bit here and buy back again here. Maybe sell here and even sell up in here. Or maybe if you didn't sell here, maybe you did sell here. After all, this is a sell area, if that's this line, even at that point. And then buyer in and a lot of buying. So what you sold in here, when it was, 151, Neo's up, let's sell. And you did so on June the 22nd, at least against Bitcoin, and any of the crosses that look the same as well. 4 days later, you're able to buy it back, and then you were able to sell immediately. Maybe again buy back here, but price action is still going from 159 to 146. That's a differential of like 7-8%. And then from this 146 handle to the 171, already now back down to under 150. It's given back over 21 basis points, 22 basis points on 17, so that's greater than 10, noticeably greater than like 14, 15%, noticeably greater than 10%, that is. And on the daily term time frame, this whole resistance level area between 16.6 and 17.1, the high end of where all these line areas are, where it hasn't really congested much there. What it really does need to see if it doesn't want to get above it is, and it's not doing it now, it's holding stay maybe 5-6 days, even 3 or 4, completely above 159, and maybe even resist higher and more consistently on the shorter term at the 173 handle. But it is still hanging within this point A high, point B low, and it's just been in a correctionary mode. We got these highs, we got this low, we got this low. This last key low is still well above it where we stand right now at 138. Right now it's in at liftoff lows at 146. Liftoff lows because it came down here and went up higher. We would have even newer liftoff lows if it's bottoms here. If not, we will be, in fact, if anything, I guess you got a matching low in here. I didn't see it with the volume bar. But we have matching low rather. But as far as the 18, it did amazingly in holding and staying above it, considering it spent no completion, no closes below the 18 lows in here. And just a lot of sideways. Okay, point A high, point B low, it's going sideways. We haven't yet had a test number 3 of the 13.6 handle, but we are currently having test number 3 of the 18 average. Test number 1 was in here. Test number 2 was this. And test number 3 right now has been going on since, well, it got up on June the 22nd. And again, I'm going to say it as I think is going to happen. When this whole Bitcoin dominance is done, that's the last chart now I need to show is BTCD. When it's done, I believe this is going to have a wicked move down. And we're going to see altcoins. Maybe not as nice as it was in 2017, or maybe as, or even nicer. I don't know. But overall, sweet moves. Where coins you see in the top 100, and even a lot of the other ones that aren't in the top 100, the top 2, 3, 4. Not all of them, but especially many of the ones, the non-dollar backed ones, of course, like the tethers, they're just meant to be that. But the actual cryptos itself and all the ones that trade against the dollar, basically, as far as its price, and moves against the dollar on that level, to have more significant moves. And thus, when the altcoins move to the upside, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin's primary trend is either that of either a sideways or a grinding small uptrend. Thus, the market cap moving lower because of the altcoins overperforming it. And it could mean situation of Litecoin going to 3, 4, 5, 600, where Bitcoin only goes up 50%. And maybe Litecoin dominates other ones because of the halvening, and the other coin goes up This one goes up 150% with Bitcoin not even coming close to 20, 30, or 40, or 50, or whatever percent move it is. And that is, and I think it would be more towards that feature. And it could be how Bitcoin did many moves before in 2017, where it would literally, let's see if I can see any examples of it in here, where Bitcoin went up like double or triple and this went down. Can I see? And this is not going to make it fun in here on the April. I guess I'll just get past April. Okay, so what do we have in? This was that sideways month. And when I really can't be counting this because the Bitcoin top was early December, like December 10th-ish or so. And then we have this down wave here. July 10, July 10th to 14th. That was a fast move, but that's how a lot of them happen though. Because it really started to take a nosedive. This is when it really happened. And if the sound is low, I'll fix that now. As I did have to take my mic off and back on, and my microphone is many inches away from my mouth compared to where it should be. But the move in here happened March 9th through April 2nd. And that's really that primary time because that's when this really rally got going after the Bitcoin dominance that it had because I wasn't. And interesting how a lot of new coins entered in this too. This is what makes this a little fishy of a chart, a difficult one. But I like just comparing the average coin. Anyway, as it goes, let me just take a look at something like a random chart like Monero or something. And let's go to 2017. And in this case, March 11th, of course, it got going. Big move here. So what was the move here? 12 to 23. That was a 2x. Overall, it was 12 to 138. So it's just going to leg up and down its move higher over what that's what a lot of them end up doing. And was it the 1st of March for the month of basically the entire month of March. So let's just take a look at Bitcoin back then, and that's how I'm going to finish this video off. So what did March 1st to March 31st look like? March 1st ended at near this high, or pretty much at a high of 1250. And near the end of the month, it came down to this low of 906. So we had a situation that occurred in here where Bitcoin was mainly extremely volatile, choppily down. And not so choppy, but it had a lot of nice up and down moves, but it didn't have too much of it, and it recovered its retracement very successfully, albeit it took a decent amount of time. For the bottom was here on March the 25th, and it never really took it out until about April the 25th. But look at that small volatility turned bigger. That's what markets will do. Volatility goes high, low, medium, and all that stuff. Safe to say that this was in the low figures, and then it got out a lot higher. Yeah, high volatile moves occurred. And if we see the same sort of thing happen, that would be awesome. Where maybe price action in here will see it chop around between, say, 9,300 and, say, 17,000 or the 14,000 or whatever that it gets to, even the 20,000. And then after that, maybe we end up having to move like that from its low. Again, maybe it'll be 9,300 and then it'll just trot back up to like this, which might represent like 16,000. This might represent 17,000. Then next thing you know, maybe next thing 6 weeks later, it's 27,000 or 37,000. That's the my type of market behaviors that I would expect when trying to complete parlays, and that's what makes it difficult in parlays. This to happen, and then if that's successful, that has to happen, and if that's successful, that's why I'll just wait each day, just to the message of the market, and then from that point on a day by day level, just let where my trades will work because whether, like for example, Theta Litecoin. If one of them has a good up move, that's awesome for me. I don't care. If one of them has a decent down move today for whatever reason, the other one stays flat. Okay, I'm going to make a trade because my ratio numbers that I trade two coins against each other will just work in intact. And if all these coins together work out something like I was showing, where say Bitcoin over a good period of time gets up to say close to 60,000 and thus has close to a 5x move. Well, now you have maybe these other coins, Litecoin and the other 20x move, and some of the lesser known 30 ranked, 80th ranked, 150th ranked coins, and even the 17th ranked coins that make it nicely in the top 10 will have rankings of 40 times and 60x gains. Neo did that well before in the past. And then when you're trading coins that have those kinds of gains, if you have, say, $1,000 worth of a coin that goes up 60 times, well, now you got 60,000 worth of that coin. And along the way, you might be trading it in ratio, and well, now I got maybe I don't got 60,000 worth of it. I got 30,000 or 50,000 because I have nowhere near as many as I did before because it went up so much. But this other coin that only went up 8 times, well, I got triple the amount of those coins. And overall, your portfolio with altcoins would go up can be so high. And at that point, well, you get to the stage where when altcoins crush Bitcoin, like they did before, and they're well extended on the weekly and monthly charts, I can see these charts well extended. It's selling for Bitcoin. And then if I'm right on the pullback, then well, it's buyback time. And if they're well extended against the dollar, I can sell it against the dollar, like those stable coins, as I call it, like a USDC or a TUSD. And then if they go back down well in dollars, then I can get more back. I can get a good deal. And then what are cryptocurrencies really designed to be, especially the Bitcoin and Litecoin and coins like that? Money. And what do you do with money? You buy things. And there's a lot of things in this day and age where people are accepting things like Bitcoin and Litecoin and DGB and maybe Ethereum, although I'm not as optimistic as others are on Ethereum, but I'm definitely not pessimistic on them. And I'm definitely not happy with their blockchain and how expensive the coin happens to be to transfer. And for what it's worth, its volatility sucks, meaning it's low, which is, for a lot of people is good. If you're looking for the lower-ish volatility, then the higher ones are definitely not for you, and the Go chains are most certainly not for you. That's a higher volatile, higher risk, higher reward. What's the fun money, basically? A percentage of your bankroll that's significant and small. Significant for it can give you good gains. If it's small, as in if you happen to lose it, it can most certainly be laughed off, knowing that the rest of the cryptos, if they're fine and those aren't, you can laugh it off. That's laughable. That's like playable money. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.